Hello, my name is Anders Paulson, and I'm one of the psychology tutors here over at Fresno City College. Today we are going to go over operant conditioning. So when we talk about operant conditioning, one of the main learning principles of psychology, very powerful when we're talking about behavioral psychology in particular, we have four main things. We have positive punishment, negative punishment, positive reinforcement, and negative reinforcement. The first thing I want to get out of the way that confuses a lot of students is when we talk about positive, we're not talking about something being good. We're talking about adding something. When we talk about negative, we're not talking about something being bad, we're talking about removing something. In fact, it can be the direct opposite sometimes. For example, with positive punishment, if a child hits their sibling, you might scold them. You say, bad Johnny, can't hit your sibling, that's a bad thing to do. Obviously, that's not a good thing, quote. So that's adding something. You're adding an undesirable stimulus in this case. Another example would be making a child do extra chores because they did not clean their room. Again, obviously something that's not good, quote, for the child. When we move over to negative punishment, we're going to be removing something desirable. For example, teenagers love their cell phones. So if they fail their math class, you're going to take away their cell phone. So that way they will be trying to fix that behavior so they can get their cell phone back. Another example would be if a child doesn't do their homework, you're not going to allow them to go out to their friend's birthday party. Moving on to reinforcement. Reinforcement is when you want to continue a good behavior, whereas punishment is when you want to prevent a bad behavior. I should say a desirable versus undesirable behavior. So with reinforcement, positive reinforcement in particular, if a child got an A on their exam, for example, you could take them out to ice cream to reinforce that, to show them that that is a desirable thing, that you want them to continue to do that. Another thing you could do is if you told them that they met a certain GPA, say 3.0 or above, you take them to Disney at the end of the semester. If they got a 3.5, obviously they met those demands, so you take them to Disneyland. That's going to be a positive reinforcer because it's going to be continuing that said behavior. When we move over to negative reinforcement, again, this isn't bad. We're actually wanting to continue a desirable behavior, so we're going to remove something undesirable. So for example, you ground your child because they hit their sibling. If they forgive their sibling, you would lift that ground early. So instead of being grounded for the week, they're only grounded for a couple of days because they forgave their sibling for doing something undesirable. Another thing you could do is you could take away chore duties if they did their homework on time. You'd say, since you did your homework, you don't have to wash dishes or mow the lawn for the whole week. Obviously, again, this is going to be something that we are trying to do to continue a behavior. So another thing that you're going to want to be aware of when we're talking about operant conditioning is that when we talk about rewards, so reinforcement, that will be the strengthening of a behavior. So again, we're trying to get this behavior to continue to happen. Whereas when we talk about punishments, or even the lack of reward, it'll be weakening the behavior. So it makes it less likely to reoccur. So we don't even necessarily have to punish a child. We could just completely ignore their behavior, and that'll likely eliminate it after time. This is known as an extinction, and I'll be going over some of those things in a later video. Thank you.